Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, covering new PC releases for this week of September the 23rd to the 29th. A handful of new games coming out this week, some of which are rather interesting and others seem kind of meh, but I'll let you know about all of them regardless. Let's go ahead and get things started with Monday, September the 23rd. We've got two games coming to Steam's Early Access, the first of which is Castle Story. This is a voxel-based real-time strategy game. It takes place on a series of floating islands, and basically the goal is to use these little yellow dudes to collect resources, build up a castle, and then defend against invading enemies. Now, in its current state, game is kind of hard to play, and what I don't mean difficulty, I just mean it's kind of unplayable. It just doesn't feel that smooth at the moment. Now, I got these initial impressions based on just responses that I'd seen in the forums, and then I did get my hand on a copy of the game. I played for about 45 minutes to an hour, and it just didn't stick with me. So with that said, I wouldn't suggest buying it at the moment unless you're just really interested in the concept and would like to support this game while it's being developed. But if you just want something that's fun to play, I don't think it's there quite yet, although it could of course be there in the future. I'll keep my eye on the game as it develops and let you know when it becomes playable, in my opinion. Now, the second game we've got on early access is Underrail. This is an old school turn-based isometric RPG that focuses on exploration and combat. It is set on a future Earth where living on the surface has become unbearable, and so the surviving humans actually dwell underground in a series of metro environments. This is very similar to Metro Last Light in terms of the game's setting. Now, in this, you control a single character, and you have to try to survive in this post-apocalyptic world. It's an RPG with a leveling system, gearing, and things of that nature. Interesting concept to the gameplay, or at least the screenshots that I've seen. It sort of reminds me of Shadowrun Returns, for example, just an old-school isometric turn-based RPG. But this one is interesting in the sense that there's only a single character that you control rather than a group. Not exactly a game that I'm super interested in at the moment, but if you are, you can pick this up for $9.99. Now on to Tuesday, September the 24th, we are seeing the release of Scribblenauts Unmasked. This is a Scribblenauts game with characters from DC Comics. So supposedly it includes actually all the characters from the DC Comics universe, which is a couple of thousand as far as I'm aware. It also comes with a hero creator that will allow you to make your very own superhero. Basically, my impression of this is if you like the Scribblenauts games and you like the DC Comics universe, you'll probably like Scribblenauts Unmasked, which you can pick up for $39.99. Next up, we've got Timelines Assault on America. This is a World War II inspired real-time strategy game. Interestingly enough, when I was researching this game, the Steam page tells you the basic information about the game tells you literally nothing. It does not even tell you that it's a real-time strategy game. I had to delve further to actually find that out. They were giving you like a story. It was really strange, but it's a real-time strategy game with 9 playable countries. It's got 20 units per faction. There's also a 12-mission campaign. It seems like what I've been getting from community feedback is that this is sort of like a Company of Heroes type game. It's an alternate reality World War II setting where America gets attacked, hence the name of the game. But it just doesn't seem like it's that good, and just the way the Steam page was presented leaves me with a bad impression of what this could potentially be. I don't know. It doesn't seem like this is going to be any good, but I could of course be wrong. You can pick it up for $14.99. Next up, we've got Alien Rage Unlimited. This is an old-school, arcadey first-person shooter where you blast your way through armies of alien forces who are hell-bent on taking you down. The game features 14 levels with over 21 enemy types, including 8 boss battles, and there is also a multiplayer in this. So think linear arcade-style FPS game. That's basically the vibe that I've been getting from this, which seems like it could be okay, and you can pick this up for $19.99. And lastly, for Tuesday, we are seeing FIFA 14, which is, of course, the latest installment in EA's popular soccer simulation franchise, or football, as most of the world knows it. It boasts several improvements, including brand new ball physics, more intelligent AI, and a revamped career mode. If you like FIFA, this is the latest installment, which can be picked up for $39.99. Now on to Wednesday, September the 25th, Day 1, Garry's Incident. Just stick with me for a second. This is a first-person survival game where you play as a veteran bush pilot who's down on his luck and stuck in the Amazon. In the game, you start off with nothing, and you must try to explore the environment, finding materials to craft the tools of your survival. The game features various mechanics like hunting, fishing, building fires, and there's also a combat system in which you engage with wildlife and enemies within the environment. The gameplay video for this game looks terrible, but also that it looks like one of those games that might be so bad that it's actually good. It's possible, or it could just be so bad, but it is available once again on Wednesday for $19.99. Now on to Thursday, September the 26th, Shadow Warrior. This is a total reimagination of the 1997 Asian-themed FPS of the same name, Shadow Warrior. It's a combination of a first-person shooter as well as a first-person action game with a heavy emphasis on swordplay. So this game's got sword combat, you can do sorts of combos, tons of different weapon types with various firing modes and things of that nature. It's Shadow Warrior reimagined. I know lots of people really loved the original Shadow Warrior game. That's not a game that I myself have a history with, but the screenshots and gameplay footage of this reimagining seems pretty solid, and there seems to be some sort of a buzz around this game, which is, typically a good thing. This will be available for $39.99. And finally, for new releases this week on Friday, September the 27th, Rise of Venice, an economic and trade simulation strategy game where you must build a business in Venice and across the Mediterranean. You are tasked with developing trade routes, buying and reselling goods, building production facilities, and just trying to grow your business. This game also has a multiplayer in which you try to undercut your friends. It's very strange to me. I suppose this is a game that would be attractive to people who like the concept of building a business, but that's not really what I go to video games for. I rather, slay dragons in video games and build a business in real life. But again, just not my style. I'm not going to bash the game, Rise of Venice. It's a trading and economic simulation game strategy. Yeah, $39.99 is what that will be available for, and that's going to do it for this week's new releases. Let's go ahead and wrap things up with my planned content for the week. So at the moment, I'm not dead set on covering any games in particular, but the ones I am interested in are Shadow Warrior, Day 1 Garry's Incident, because it seems like it could be hilarious, and Alien Rage, I'm also slightly interested. Those are the three games that I might be covering this week. I did have some time with Takedown, which was a game that I was supposed to cover last week. Unfortunately, during launch, it was just bad. There was so much wrong with it, and I'm still really not that impressed with what I have experience with the game. So I just want to make a video letting you guys know sort of what my problems with it are and sort of the disappointment that I ended up having with that. But again, beyond that, this week I'm potentially going to be looking at Shadow Warrior, Day 1 Garry's Incident, and Alien Rage. Also typical stuff with the Force Feed, Friday Night Magic. I've also been trying to more regularly do sort of discussion or update news videos. Like I did a video talking about the Steam OS that was announced just as a separate standalone video. I also did a video about my return to WoW, and anytime sort of big breaking news comes out, I think I'm going to try to cover it on the channel in addition to what will be happening with the Force Feed, and we'll see how people are receptive to that, or whether or not they are. And I guess that's going to do it for this week's PC release update video, as well as a discussion of my planned content for the week. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.